texted you the other day that he has a new opponent, right?
Yeah, Trevor has a new opponent. Trevor is now fighting a guy named they go by Chipe, but his name is Jose Marcerilica, something like
Uh
that.
huh.
But yeah, he's coming in. He's actually from the same gym, from the same guy I just fought, an elevation fight team. So he trains there in Colorado. He's on a 3-fight winning streak, all finishes. He's been fighting for LFA, so it's a pretty big promotion, and he's been doing really well. So he's on a come up. He's now got his official UFC debut, and it's going to be good. So it's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a really fun fight. I feel like that first round is going to be balls to the walls. Like that first round is going to be exciting. But I really do think Trevor, Trevor's pressure and power is going to be a big difference maker. Jose is a natural 145er. He has fought at 155 before, but this isn't his weight class. He's fought at 145 majority of his career. Trevor's yet to ever fight at 145. So, and Trevor's going to be a little bit thicker than him. So, short notice, smaller guy. It's going to be really hard for him to overcome Trevor. So,
Yeah, it's what it sounded like. It's sound like things are kind of stacked up against him, but I guess that's what you're talking about. A late notice like that, picking it up. So, either way, I'll be trying to tune in to watch that for sure. That's going to be on ESPN, right?
Yes,
And
it should be.
that's a prelim, so that one should be free, right? I mean, that's like
Yeah,
one that everybody.
yeah. All of them are free. Fight nights are free. Well,
That's right.
technically they're not. Technically, I mean, but if you got ESPN Plus, you're still paying for it. But
Yeah. But the
all of
prelims
them
that
are.
comes on normal ESPN, you ain't got to have the app or whatever. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Well, that'll be good. And no excuses for that. Everybody should be tuning in to watch Trevor this week. Then,
Mhm.
so kicking things off to the next thing. We got a lot of NBA stuff this week. We got the draft, obviously. Big trade went down yesterday. Happy late Father's Day to all you fathers out there.
All the balls.
Yeah, all the papas, all the papas. We had a big trade go down, and this one was kind of assumed that it was going to happen at some point or another. But Bradley Beal being traded from the Washington Wizards to the Phoenix Suns to now make another big three. I don't know if people. We'll get into the Ayton stuff here in a minute. We'll let Torrez get on his soapbox. He wanted to talk a lot of stuff about Ayton, so I don't know if you consider them a big four. Torres might consider them a big four, but I think most people are considering this a big three between Durant, Booker, and now Bradley Beal. Ayton, it sounded like, is going to get flipped for some other guys because right now they don't really have anybody else on the roster, it seems, outside of those four guys. So they're going to probably try to flip eight and get some other assets to fill out the rest of that roster. But initial thoughts, I know that with the Wizards ended up trading Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and some second round picks and some pick swaps. That's all they ended up trading away in this deal. Who's the winner here? I feel like it's pretty obvious. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is obvious. The Suns got this one. So looking at what the Suns have brought in, Kevin Durant. I mean, it looks like a lot of people want to play with Kevin Durant, but with the new GM, like they saw it like in 5 months span. A 5 month span. I mean, he's fired the head coach. He's brought in different players. Let go of traded Chris Paul. I mean, the Suns need this, all right? After watching the Suns, if you want to say, okay, who's gave the Nuggets the toughest run towards the championship? It was the Suns, all right? They were the only team that literally stood a chance. Nobody else really stood a chance. They swept the Lakers. They destroyed the Timberwolves. Obviously, seeding plays a factor. And then, obviously, they played the Heat in the finals. So it wasn't too much of a rough test, but the toughest test for the Suns. And the Suns were right there. And the Suns, according to a lot of people, were favored it, to go to the finals, but with the pieces that they had. But we've talked about this multiple times on the show. They didn't have a bench, and we knew that would come to be a problem. Now, I do agree with them having to trade and get assets for Ayton because they need a bench. Like just to have Beal, Durant, and Booker, you're gonna be very similar in the situation you were in this year. Now, yeah, you might have a lot of scoring threats, but I'm still like, man, you still gotta play some defense. You gotta play some defense, man. So
Yeah.
I think the size, like Bill's like what? What Bill's like 6'5", 6?
Yeah, he's like a 6'4", 6'5" guy.
Yeah.
He's a
So
guard.
a guard, yeah. So like you gonna basically have about two guards on the floor with him and Booker. Um,
Yeah.
who gonna
Booker
play
probably
point? Who
Booker
play
probably
point?
going to have to play the point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I don't know, man. I think offensively, I mean, on paper is probably people probably think, oh my gosh, championship, but I'm not sold on championship just yet. Just yet, I'm not sold on championship just yet. Right now, only thing I think they're gonna be a really good team. I still have to see this thing work out. And right now, the Suns are still one of the top 5 teams to win the championship next year, as they should be. As long as you got Kevin Durant, you always gonna be at the top. So they got
Yeah.
KD, you got Booker, and now you got Bill. They're gonna be a really good offensive team, but I really want to see them get more assets on the bench and hopefully some solid defensive players.
I'm wondering, obviously people are, thinking about what they're going to be able to do. They got some young guy in the deal. The Suns did like the 31st pick last year, Isaiah Todd or something like that. I remember the name vaguely. He's only been in the league for a year. I don't know if it's anything major really, as far as if he's going to be able to contribute to this team. But they got that. They're going to be one of those teams we've talked about on this show. That's they're already with this contract now. They are so far the most expensive team right now going into this this draft and this free agency run that's about to go down. They're going to be the first team we're going to kind of get to tinker with and see how this is going to actually affect them. They're not going to have a mid-level exception. I know that. It looks like they're committed to this team for the near future. I mean, you take on a guy like Bradley Beal who has a no trade, no trade clause. Um, you're kind of stuck now. You're stuck with this. I mean, it could be good. Given your options, this might have been the best way to go about it. Possibly at the time, there may have been some other stuff you could have done, but you're locked in now. It's like do or die. Like when you make a move like this, it's going all in. We'll see how it plays out for them, but this has the potential to go very very south. Should things not fall the way they want them to. I mean, you still got a guy in KD
Yeah.
who gets injured quite a bit. He's just fragile at this point. He going through layup lines and gets hurt. And he's out weeks. That just happened this past year. And I was listening to another podcast. I listened to Bill Simmons. He was talking to me. He's like, a lot of people talk about Jeff Green. Everybody, when he's on the broadcast, everybody's like, oh, the old veteran Jeff Green for the Nuggets. The old guy coming in. He's like, that guy was drafted the same year as Kevin Durant. That
Yeah.
they Kevin Durant's not a young guy anymore. As much as people like to
Not,
throw him up
I
there
don't know
as
why
a
people
young
think
guy,
that. He's not young.
he's not a young guy anymore. He's got to hold up. Booker's never given us any issues or really, really reasons to believe against him. I'm a big believer in Booker. I think he's going to be awesome. But Bill's another guy. He's had some injury stuff. I know that. And then honestly, I know he was good a couple of years ago, but he's decent. But him being no longer the number one guy, I'm interested to see if he's more of a product. Those years that year or two he was doing really, really, really good. If it was more of a product of him just having the ball in his hands all the time, and being the only guy, or if he was actually that good. So we're going to really see a test as to how talented, or how much he's really got left in the tank, as far as what he can contribute to this team. But the way they felt this roster, we kind of pointed it out, but splitting up Ayton into multiple guys, that's going to be an option. I saw something get tossed around. Let me throw you this trade real quick. I saw this trade pop up today. Your Dallas Mavericks were involved. Okay,
All right.
Dallas Mavericks trading away, I believe it was Reggie Bullock and who was it? Oh man, it was Reggie Bullock and I think it was the number 10 pick. Get Reggie Bullock goes to the Suns. The 10 pick goes to the Hawks. The Hawks trade Capella to the Suns. So the Suns are getting Capella and Bullock. and then the Mavericks are getting DeAndre Ayton.
Well, I wouldn't be too much against that. I mean, we
So you're giving away your sons. They're giving Reggie Bullock and the number 10 pick, and that's it, right? Isn't that what I just listed out? Yeah,
yeah,
right. Reggie
yeah.
Bullock.
You said the Hawks would be getting or
The Hawks would be getting the number 10 pick.
number 10
That's
pick.
it.
All right,
That's
and
all.
the Suns would be getting Bullock and Capella.
And Capella, you'd be getting Ayton.
It'll bring some production offensively.
I mean, you seem to really believe in him.
I like Aiden. I mean, I don't understand these people that think he's a bust so far. I mean,
I'm not saying he's quite a bust, but he's definitely fallen off since that championship final. The finals they were just in a couple years ago.
he
Like
just had an 18.
he
He just
hasn't
had
been
an
the
18
same dude.
He just had an 18-10 season.
Oh God, here we go again with this.
I mean, is that not good? Is that not good? What?
It's good. It's not like exceptional. It's not number one pick stuff, Torrez.
Okay, not every number one pick gonna come in and be LeBron James. All right, he has played the role well. Like, I think this expectation of him trying to be a freaking MVP, that's crazy to me.
He got picked. Didn't he get picked? Wasn't he in the same draft as Luka Doncic?
What was that? 2020, 2019?
I think he was. I
19?
was.
Okay.
I mean,
So
when you're in that same draft with Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson, I feel like all those guys have kind of outplayed Ayton up to this point.
and I would agree with you on that. But to say Ayton, okay,
He was the one pick first out of all them.
so just because he's the number one pick and he doesn't fulfill numbers
And I didn't say he was a bust, but he hasn't really lived up to it, especially after we've just seen him, have a really good season where he went to the postseason, went to the finals with the Suns going against the Bucks, and then here
and where has these guys
in
done
the playoffs this year. I mean, he got ran over.
And I got a question: where have any of these guys done? Technically, I mean, Luka has had a run. Like, heck, Trae has had a run. He got his guys to the conference finals. They both had runs.
Jackson's coming off of Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, so they have all done their things. I feel like Aiden's done his thing, especially in the role he had to play on the team for the Suns. I mean, what Chris Paul and
why are they trying to get rid of him, and why are they wanting them?
Because you can bring in more assets.
This is just a hypothetical trade. I don't even know if they really have interest in this. But why does nobody want this guy? Why does nobody want this guy?
I think that's just a stupid pick for people not to want him. Because if he's bringing you a consistent 18-10, 16-10.
What do you know that these GMs don't know, Torrez?
I mean, if that's not good production, then I don't know what is. If that's not got good production, are we starting to really say that 18-10 per season is no longer a production thing that I don't want on my team? I feel like we're getting greedy. You're getting greedy now. I think at this point he has brought to the table what he should have done. Now, yes, I watched the game for what he did for the Nuggets. No, he did not play the best. Then he got hurt in Game 5. Then play in Game 6. Felt like it was a little big, and then people want to bring up the effort and him on the defensive end. Yes, but we've only seen that this past season. Multiple seasons up to this point, he was continuing to progress. All right, he was progressively getting better each season. I would say last year was probably a so-called, you could say, worst season. Okay, worst season is 16-10, 17-10. Like, if that's my worst season, then freak. Like, I understand you're saying, okay, we are trying to grade him on the level of number one overall draft, but the production he has brought to his team, I feel like has been something to oh man, that's pretty good. That's something to the full. I think that's a solid thing that he's brought to the Suns.
Nobody's going crazy about this dude, though. I mean, he's solid. He's good, but nobody's going nuts about this dude. That's what I'm saying.
All right, DeAndre. Okay, that's the thing. When DeAndre Ayton got drafted never once, and I think, DeAndre Ayton's going to be the next Shaq. DeAndre Ayton's going to be
pretty good. thought it could be pretty good. I ain't gonna lie.
The play he has done so far is actually my expectations. That's what I expected for him. I never expected Ayton to. When Luka got, let me tell you this. I told my friends when Luka got drafted to the Hawks. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to actually go to Hawks games because I was keeping up with Luka, and I thought Luka was going to be phenomenal. All right.
Yeah.
Then they traded to Dallas, and I'm like, y'all are absolute idiots. The Hawks. Now, yeah, some people probably like more for Trae Young and Luka. Depends on who you are, but I still think Luka's a better player than Trae Young. I just thought the Hawks would dominate from trade. But regardless, never once did I ever get excited for Ayton. When even though he went the number one overall draft, I said, "Oh, he'll be a solid player. I think he'll do good. Whatever he brings to the table, it'll be solid."
I thought he was going to be pretty good. I like him a lot coming out of Arizona. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I did watch a little film from him in college. I just never that big on. I never thought he'll be a generational type player. I thought he'd be a guy that comes in and give a lot of good production, and which he has. I mean, you averaging a double-double at center, averaging 16 to 17 points per game. This season was 18. Like, I mean, come on. And then you give him a 10 points per game. I feel like this is a plus in my opinion. But they can trade.
Since when is averaging a double-double the benchmark for a good center, though? I even read you out. I even brought up the name Alperen Şengün. You didn't even know who that dude was, and he's nearly averaging a double-double.
Yeah, he's averaging 14 and 9. All right. That's
what I'm saying. Like,
it's good production. Like, wow, I don't get this. Maybe I'm too caught up in old school, but I don't understand this. How is that not good production? Like, why?
I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not like
question.
Great though. It's not the kind of thing.
It's not the expectation. I don't want him to be great. He is not meant to be great. I'm not expecting him to be great. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're trying to put him in this category that I don't think doesn't even be put in. He deserves
number one overall pick. Okay. Number one overall pick. You put it in your own category. I mean, that's just what it is.
All right, and as long as you're still doing good, he's still playing basketball. That's all he's doing. He's playing really good basketball. All right, he's not coming in and saying, "Oh, I'm the next Shaquille O'Neal. I'm the next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar." He ain't saying all that. Nobody. I didn't expect. That's why I think what his production has actually been pretty good. Now
we'll just have to agree to disagree on
this past playoff.
It just ain't.
But come on, this man made a buzzer in the freaking conference finals 2 years ago and got his team to the finals. Like Ayton has played, man. He's done his work here and there. Like I don't understand this. I don't understand.
All right. I'll leave it at this because it's just this one ain't going.
I mean, I feel right. Number one overall. I do get it. Number one overall. I get it. But I just feel like the type of guy he is, the way he has played so far, is solid enough for him to be considered a good basketball player. And like you said you never said he wasn't good, but your expectation was for him to be even greater. In my opinion, I just thought where he's at right now was my expectation for him. I never thought he was going to be that great. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, the other side of this trade, we're looking at the Washington Wizards here. They give away Bradley Beal, and they didn't get any first-round picks. They get some pick swaps, and maybe those can come into play later on. Louis said the man is a great role player. There you go. A great role player.
I agree. Yes, I agree, Louis. Thank you.
Yeah, Louis got your back. Louis to the rescue for Torrez. But on the other side of the deal, you got the Washington Wizards unable to get a first-round pick in this deal. They got some second-rounders, the first-round pick swaps, that kind of stuff. Nothing crazy. There was rumors that the Heat were offering a couple first-round picks that probably would have been protected. And then Duncan Robinson. And who was the other one they were talking about? They were talking about one other player. It wasn't going to be Hero. They weren't a Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson a couple.
For 8?
That was your other.
For 8?
No. This was for Beal.
Oh, for Beal. Okay.
Yeah. And but the ultimate thing was Beal had to say so. He could just say yes or no to either one that he wanted to do. He didn't want to go there. He wanted to go to Phoenix, so that's where he ultimately ended up. So there are obviously big reasons here with that. I mean, the contract was already.
So I wanted to make a point because you made actually a really good point in the group message, actually. So Tyler brought up the point of you have Kevin Durant. All right, let's number this off a little bit. I mean, okay, you can say, okay, yes, in OKC, they were drafted, which they were, but obviously we saw that Westbrook and Harden both won MVP individually themselves. So obviously you can say they had a big three in OKC. Know what happened in Golden State. We don't even have to bring that up. Then you got Brooklyn with Harden and Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously Harden leaves. Now he goes to the Suns. He had Chris Paul, now we got Bill and D-Book with KD. We talk about this super team stuff. I mean, I know a lot of people like to bring up LeBron. They do when they talk about super teams, which I felt like he's had a few, but nobody has had more super teams than Kevin Durant. I love Kevin Durant, big fan of him, but the facts are facts. This man has had a huge big three. I mean, can we legit say that he's had top 15 players on his team every single year, at least two? I mean, Bradley Beal. Take that back. Chris Paul wasn't a top 15 player last year. Okay, yeah, but Chris Paul was still a productive piece because the year before that, I mean, they was number one seed, and lost in the semifinals. So they were pretty good, him and D Book. But he's had some players. I mean, Harden, Westbrook, Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Chris Paul, and Kyrie, and Harden. I mean, he's played with the best of the best. So when we bring up this super team, fact, and like, hey, man, you guys playing with super teams here and there, Kevin Durant's going to be one of those guys. And I know some people like to say, well, if you're on the playground, are you going to pick the worst guys to pick on your team? No, I'm not. I am going to pick the best player. But when we're trying to criticize certain players about who they play with and who they were allowed to play with and who they did this and that with, we can't always bring that up because some of the guys we're vouching for, if you look for the opposite team, these guys are playing with some killers. And we're having Bill and D-Book. Yes, I know defensively and as a bench right now, they're not as good, but still, I mean, that's offensive weapons all over the floor. Every single one of those boys can shoot. Durant is already a problem. Heck, you can still make a case when healthy. Kevin Durant is probably still a top 3 player in the league.
Yeah.
D-Book is right there. He's for sure top 10.
This is awesome, yeah.
So, and then Bill, right? Bill, you can make a case for him potentially top. I still got him top 15, but you can make a case for him top 10 if you want to.
I don't even know if top 15. I mean, I'm not that huge on him. I think I can name like 20 or so probably people better than him.
Better than Bill?
Yeah. I don't think that's even a stretch.
I don't think so either, but I do think he's one of the top players. Top players in the
league. Up. I mean, he's up there. I'm not trying to discredit him.
Would you take him or Trae Young?
Him up top 15.
You take him or Trae Young?
I might take Trae Young.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's about as close as because I think some people put Trae Young in top 15. And I don't know. I wouldn't personally do it. I don't have him top 15. Yeah. But he is good. I mean, how many years Bill been in the league? Bill been in the league for a minute, right?
Bill been in the league for a little while.
He's been. I feel like it's been over 10 years. That's what I feel like.
Let's see. He was on that Celtics team that gave the Celtics, or no, he was in that Wizards team when they gave the Celtics a tough time in the first round that one time, and they dressed in all black with the funeral or whatever they were saying all that. He's 29 years old. Let's see.
He's only 29.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked at how old he is. I thought he'd be a little older. Let's see, 2012 was the first one. So, it's 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 years. So not a chicken anymore, but still pretty good. But we got that was the big thing this weekend. That's the main big news coming out. There's going to be some other fighters. There's going to be a lot of trades. I feel like, Adrian Wojnarowski and said that he's not going to be locked in at the draft picks before they happen because you know how like during the draft till always the Washington Wizards are looking to take so or the Atlanta Hawks zeroed in on the Cleveland Cavaliers focused on getting. He always does. He doesn't say draft or going to draft. He always uses a different word, but he says he's not going to really do that this year. He's going to be mainly focused on trades. That kind of tells me that he's expecting to get a bit to go down. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of movement. Your Mavericks are still looking to move that number 10 pick. We've heard about the Hornets in deals for trading the number 2 pick. We've heard about the Rockets in deals for trading the number 4 pick possibly.
Pelicans getting ready to let go of Zion.
They be doing that. The number 3 picks available. There's some, Portland's going to try to trade that. Magic may move something. Pacers may move something. They all have multiple personal picks. The Lakers may do something.
You think Portland potentially trade Damian Lillard?
It's so hard to read. Like sometimes you come out and say some stuff like, I can see myself in Miami. I can see myself in this city. They're only going to trade him if they trade him. They're going to trade him with teams. But then something comes. Shams Charania, he's focused on staying with the Trailblazers. So he's going to go and say, I can see myself playing for these other teams, but then say that. It's wishy-washy. I don't really know what's going to go down. Who even knows? If they're smart, I'd move them. I mean, you get the most bang for your buck right now. Selling him off right now. Hey, you're getting this superstar player. Give me all these picks. Give me all these assets. They already have a number 3 pick they can get. Brandon Miller from Alabama or Henderson, the G League guy. You can build from there. And you already got Andrew Skins and Shaden Sharp. I just wiped the slate, but it looks like they're going to try to move around him.
I mean, the purpose of them letting go CJ McCollum was to allow them to bring in more assets. Damian Lillard. Looked like they really didn't do it. So,
yeah, they really
I mean, it's the question on whether or not, what Lillard wants to do. I know Lillard is big about, the grind and staying there with his team and doing what he has to do, but I don't know, man. It depends on it depends on what you're playing for. If you want to sit there and continue, go ahead. Because it's possible anything can happen. You get around a good team and you get around a good amount of role players. You can bring a championship, but with the way the West is right now, man, it's just going to be too tough for Portland, man. I just don't see Portland anytime, especially anytime soon for Dame. Dame, isn't he 30 now? 30, 31? You got about 4 or 5 years, and to be honest with you, I don't see the Nuggets going anywhere. And with the way you talking about the Suns, expecting to stay with this long term, they may not be going anywhere. Don't tell how many more years Durant got in the league. So it's it'll be tough for Portland, man. I don't see them having much success anytime soon.
Yeah. We're going to have to see about. I feel like we're a little bit. I know Dad said that I'm trying to move around here in a little bit, but let's see. Let me see if I can find a good spot. Or maybe it's something to do with. Are you hearing echo?
No, I'm not hearing an echo. I hear you pretty well.
I'm hearing it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the draft though. We're already getting a group of guys together. Going out, I'm going to Jackson. Jackson might come into town and watch it. Zach's going to come in. He's going to get together Kobe.